Hi, I'm Carlin Borisenko. In early 2020, I was the knitting Democrat who accidentally went viral on the internet for going to a Trump rally and then left the party. I became the conservative darling, was on all the shows, traveled around the country, and then realized that conservatives were no better than Democrats. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's that both political tribes are two sides of the same coin. But it wasn't all bad. On my journey, I became obsessed with understanding the woke ideology and the culture war. I broke the story of the city of Seattle doing segregated training with its employees.
How bad has this stuff become? The city of Seattle has now put out, I'm not kidding you, this is according to Dr. Carolyn Borisenko, who's an organizational psychologist. The city of Seattle asked its white employees to voluntarily spend a day off in a training about their internalized racial superiority.
I broke the story that led to the first ever federal lawsuit against critical race theory in the schools. I broke the Coke Be Less White story, one of the biggest anti-woke stories of all time. It got over 30 million views. Coca-Cola's corporate headquarters even had to change their outgoing voicemail.
Throughout the past few days, you may have seen inaccurate reporting on the content of our recently launched diversity, equity, and inclusion training program.
I exposed the schools in Burlington, Vermont for grooming middle school children live on the internet. They called me an unwoke cult leader for that. And the Vermont Human Rights Commission slandered me publicly as being a hate channel. I even got called a hero in Breitbart for exposing that the Washington Post was writing a hit piece on Christopher Rufo. I have broken story after story after story about what's going on in the public schools, from Cambridge, Massachusetts, to autistic sex education, to the Department of Education in Michigan, literally training teachers all over the state how to groom children. I wrote a book called Actively Unwoke, the ultimate guide for fighting back against the woke insanity in your life. I host a podcast all about fighting back, and I'm downloading all of my knowledge to you on my Substack, carlin.substack.com. The world is a crazy place. We are literally surrounded by cults on all sides. On this show, we're going to do a deep dive into all aspects of the culture war, and I will show you the dark, dystopian underbellies on both sides. Here are the commitments I'll make to you. I will always tell you the truth. I will always bring you receipts. And if you stick with me, I promise you will see the world differently. Welcome to the cult. Please mount that like button for me and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Well, hey guys, happy Monday. So unfortunately, we need to have another tough conversation today. This wasn't what I planned originally for this stream, but this is the way it's going to go. And I'm really sorry we've had so many of these streams lately. I'm really sorry. I am. This isn't what I wanted. You know, I've spent the last 2 years of my life, over 2 years of my life, doing more to expose what's going on in the schools, what's going on in corporate workplace training, what's going on the left than almost anyone on the internet that I know of. And you know, I mean, I'm not saying I'm the absolute, not like because I'm not. There are people who have done more than me, but I've done a lot. I've done more than most people. And I think it's time to hang up the hat. And I know this contradicts what I told you guys because I said I was just going to stop doing it on YouTube because it wasn't getting views on YouTube. It wasn't like I couldn't get people to watch it, but I could still get people to read it on my Substack. And then I have 10 times the readership on my Substack than I do on YouTube on any given day, at least 10 times, if not more. And so I thought it would still be worth doing over there. That was completely the plan, and that was what I was going to move forward and do. And then well, I have spent the last 2 days again getting assaulted and defamed and smeared by the conservative right, and of course by the walkaway campaign, because the walkaway campaign and Mike Harlow, who is Brandon Strzok's best friend, is always involved. The walkaway campaign doesn't know how to do anything but smear me. I'm pretty sure that smearing me is actually the most effective thing that the walkaway campaign has ever done. But I am really tired of the endless attacks that I have experienced over the last 2 years from the conservative right. I have always said that I have been attacked like significantly more severely by the conservative right than I've ever been attacked by the woke left. The woke left, the ones who are supposed to be the worst at cancel culture, the ones that are supposed they're pussycats compared to what I have to deal with on the conservative right. And this has been 2 years now. 2 straight years of having to deal with this. So last night I was starting to put like some plans in place to do the next conference infiltration, because there are a couple conferences that I want to infiltrate this year, to show you exactly what's going on at these conferences, and to show you, like, in their own words, like getting video of what's going on, getting evidence, getting all that stuff. There's at least 2, if not more, that I wanted to do this year. And I was starting to put like plans together last week to start to plan to do one of the conferences, and it's going to be a big task, and I'm not going to lie. This infiltrating this conference is, I mean, both of the ones that I have in mind, it's going to require the work of multiple people. It's not just me that's doing it. It's going to require, like, one of them specifically is going to require coordination across probably dozens of people. It's going to require me making a financial investment to do it, which every single time someone signs up for my Substack, that money ultimately is like reinvested in, like, actually doing things. So, I could take that money and I could go on a vacation, like a cruise that I haven't been on a vacation in, like, what, 4 years, 5 years, something like that. I don't even know. But I choose to reinvest it in doing things that can benefit people by exposing what's going on in the woke left. And so this I started planning this, like, how to do this infiltration last night. Well, I'd started planning a couple days ago, but I really kind of sat down in earnest to start doing it last night. And well, surprise. Oh, hundreds of conservative Christians are smearing me and defaming me on Twitter again, and doxing my friends again. And oh, there's my Carlo and the Walkaway campaign. Oh, predictably, they're smearing and defaming me again, and dragging my friends through the mud again, and doxing me again. And oh wait, there's Wocal Distance, who's supposed to be anti-woke, but no, Wocal Distance is taking the side of conservative Christians who are smearing me again. And oh, wait, everyone is ignoring the mountains of evidence that I have worked tirelessly over the course of 2 years to provide you assholes, to show you exactly and precisely what is happening in the schools. All of the receipts, all of the curriculum, all of the FOIA documents, all of the files that I'm literally the only one on the planet that has, because I'm the one that infiltrated the private events to get the goddamn files. None of that matters. Let's just ignore all of it. Nope, nothing to see here. Just because Carlin has video of quite literally how they're transing the kids in the autistic kids in schools, just because Carlin is like quite literally the only fucking person on the internet who has the full video of exactly and precisely how they are transitioning your autistic children in schools. Let's just ignore all of that because you know what's really important? We have to smear and defame Carlin and dox her friends until we drive her to within an inch of her fucking sanity. And that is how we prove that we are the very best Christians that we can be, because that's what good Christians do. They smear and defame and dox people who are quite literally handing them all the evidence about what is going on with their kids on a silver fucking platter, and that is what they prioritize. Oh no, Target is selling swimsuits. Oh my god. Oh, swimsuits that no one has to buy. Oh my god. Frenzy, 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 frenzy. That's what's so important, that a company, a store is selling something that we don't have to buy, okay? That is the most important thing. Not what's going on in the schools, not them transing the autistic children. Nope, nope. We need to smear and defame the people who are doing that. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I am exhausted. I am burnt out. This is all I think about. And I really thought for like the longest time, I really thought, Carlin, just keep your head down. Just keep exposing what's going on. Just keep your head down. Just keep exposing what's going on. Eventually, they'll stop defaming you. Eventually, the good Christian conservatives will stop defaming you. If you just keep your head down and focus on what's going on, just keep your head down and keep focus on exposing things, and eventually they'll stop defaming you. But I don't think it'll ever stop. I don't think it'll ever stop. I am fully aware that there are people who understand the value of what I've been killing myself to offer you guys. I am fully aware that there are people who see what I'm doing, but not enough. Not enough. And part of the reason that not enough people see it is I'm constantly defamed and smeared by the people who should care about this if they actually have the values that they claim to have, but they don't. And no one wants to stand up to them. And no one wants to do anything about it. So why should I give up my life and my sanity to continue doing this? Why should I invest my money in infiltrating these events to show people what's going on, to pay for however many registrations I'd have to pay for, to pay for the equipment, to pay for. Oh yeah, Stevie, Aaron is one of the people smearing and defaming me. So you can like him if you want, but he's not worth anything so far as I'm concerned. So far as I'm concerned, he's part of the problem. So far as I'm concerned, he deserves to have his kids transitioned in school, because this is quite literally the point that I have been pushed to. I now believe wholeheartedly that every single person who engages in this bullshit deserves to have their kids transitioned in school. They deserve it. Their kids don't deserve it, but they deserve it. They deserve to experience that pain. That is the only way these people are going to learn. I don't know how people expect me to continue to keep doing this. Because every single time that we have success at something, every single time that we have success at something, what I experience is that I am thanked for all the efforts that all the hours that I put in for free, all of my personal money that I invest in doing it. How I'm thanked is another round of smear campaigns led by the walkaway movement and Mike Harlow and led by conservative Christians on Twitter. Another round of thousands of people smearing me and doxing my friends and defaming me. That is how I am thanked every single time we have success exposing something. And do the things that we expose, do they ever get covered? Do they ever get coverage anywhere? No, they don't. You want to know why? Because the good conservative influencers who should be doing their goddamn jobs and informing parents about what's happening are too busy smearing me and defaming me and doxing my friends, because that's what's most important, guys. Never, ever forget that the most important thing about me in the land of conservative Christians is that I'm fat and I have stupid hair and I have crazy spiritual beliefs that they don't agree with, and that is the most important thing that matters on the conservative right. That is quite literally all they care about is my weight and my haircut and my spiritual beliefs, and they ignore everything else. And every single time there is any success at all, I am thanked with another round of defamation, another round of smear campaigns, another round of bullshit from thousands of people across all social media platforms. I have been smeared by the same fucking clip for over 2.5 years now. Well, that's going to make another round. Oh, look, let me log into Instagram and see what's happening. Oh, my inbox is filled up by people calling me fat and stupid. Oh, and wishing me death. Oh, that's real nice, conservatives. Yep, great job. Great work. So I don't know what people expect me to do anymore. I don't know why people expect me to continue to put up with this. And I wish there were more people that were supportive of what I've been trying to do. And I thought that I thought that, again, I really did intend to keep covering this over on Substack. I really did. I really thought the conservative right has no interest in winning at all. They just don't. And if how I'm going to be thanked for my trouble is to be continued to be smeared and doxxed and put through 19 levels of bullshit every single time I expose something new about what's going on in the schools, every single time I have any success at all, then I quit. I quit. You know what I'll do instead? I will parrot the talking points that everyone just desperately wants me to parrot. I will have a Substack filled with, here's something that Fox News reported on today that's kind of important and that you should probably know about it. I don't need to be a fucking journalist. I don't need to put myself through this. I can just go on Twitter any day of the week and look at what's in the trending column. Here's what happened in the news today and write about that on Substack. That requires almost no work at all. And I'll bet you it's actually what more people want. If I'm honest about it, I bet it's what more people want because their actions are telling me that they don't care about any of the other stuff. So I don't know how to continue to rationalize this. And I know this is like, I really thought I could make this work. I really, really did. I thought I could make it work. But maybe you guys can help me to figure out a way to rationalize this because what would you do if you were in my if you were in my shoes? Right now on Twitter, I'm being called a pedophile by thousands of people. My husband is being called a pedophile by thousands of people. My friends are being doxxed and dragged through the mud, and this is all being led by conservative Christians who swear they're not authoritarian. They're just trying to expose the pedophile. Do they fact check any of what they say? No. Do they care what the truth is? No, because they're good Christians after all, and you know good Christians just really don't give a flying fuck who they have to dox, who they have to drag through the mud, who they have to smear. All that matters is they get likes and retweets on Twitter because that's what Jesus wants. I don't know how I continue to rationalize this. I've been through this for 2 years, 2.5 years. And for the people saying to get off Twitter, the problem is that what happens on Twitter follows you everywhere else. Everywhere else. No, this is not about needing a break, Terry. For those who say, go on vacation, Carlin, go take a break. Well, do you know what's going to happen when I come back? And I start doing it all over again. Oh, here comes another smear campaign. Here comes another doxing. Here comes another round of attacks, all led by conservatives. Oh, talk to James O'Keefe, the same James O'Keefe that wanted me to send him all my work so that he could run with it and take credit for it. No. No, I don't think I will. No. Maybe quit and go back to your old work before you sell out. Pursuing truth and fighting for a team brings you enemies from more angles. No, what I'm going to do, what my plan is right now, well, this is what is going to happen. This is what is going to happen. I did a little experiment on YouTube when I wanted to know if people actually valued the work I was doing exposing the schools. I gave everyone a chance. and I made it as easy as possible for people to watch the content and share the content and like the content. And then I put out a variety of other content to assess what type of content people wanted. And of course, no one wanted the content where I was exposing what was going on in the schools. So I made the decision to stop doing it on YouTube, but I said I was still going to do it on Substack because I have far more readership on Substack anyway. I can get more traction on Substack. But now, knowing that no matter what I do, I'm going to be greeted with smear campaigns that are run by the Walkaway campaign and by the conservative Christian right. No matter what I do, no matter what I do, no matter what I expose, it will never be covered because of the smear campaigns and the constant bullshit. So the work I'm doing will never be covered by anyone. Which means that people won't see it. Which means that it won't help people outside of the people in this community that I already have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting a post on my Substack saying, I want this many new supporters or else I no longer do this. If I reach this many new supporters by within a certain time frame, I will cover this we're going to do this as one-offs now. If I reach this many new supporters by this time period, I will cover this conference, or I will cover this event, or I will give you this piece of information. If I don't, then the only assumption that I can make is that people do not value what I'm doing. And let me really explain this because this is not a money thing. It's not a money thing at all. Quite frankly, the number of new supporters I'm going to be asking for isn't even going to cover the expenses that I'm going to personally pay in order to cover what I want to cover. So I will still be paying out of pocket for it because God knows if I try to crowdfund something, you know what's going to happen? The conservative Christians are going to smear me and dox me and try to deplatform me. I know that because they already did it once. So I can't do crowdfunding. So it's not about the money. It is about people valuing what I'm doing. Because if all I ever hear and all I see are thousands of people smearing me, defaming me, doxing my friends, dragging me through the mud, dragging my friends through the mud, and those are the people who, quite frankly, should be paying attention to the content that I'm creating and the content that I'm putting out and the original reporting that no one else on the fucking internet is doing that I know of. If I cannot get people to value what I am doing and I have to be met with a mountain of bullshit every single time I do it, then why am I doing it? Does that make sense? Again, I really thought that if I just kept my head down and I kept working and I kept exposing things, and I kept showing people, and I kept, finding things that no one else was finding, and I went deeper than TikTok videos because I'm sure you guys know TikTok is bullshit, right? Most of the things they're saying on TikTok, they aren't even doing. They're just saying it to get attention on TikTok. And I thought people would get that at some point, but no, apparently all people want is TikTok reporting. Well, you can get that. I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to report on bullshit. But if I can't get people to value what I'm doing rather than end on top of knowing that every single thing that I invest all my time and all my money in, I am just going to get harassed endlessly every day of my life, that my friends are going to get harassed, that I'm going to be doxxed, my friends are going to be doxxed. Like, why am I doing and it's all happening from the fucking right. Because they are that much of fucking children. Why am I even doing it? Well, it's not going to be a part of my life anymore. I'll tell you that. So let me show you one of the things that happened yesterday. And this wasn't the only thing. This honestly wasn't even the biggest thing. This wasn't even the most important thing, but it was the thing it was the thing that drove me to the point of saying no fucking more. It happened from this guy, Aaron. I'd never heard of Aaron before yesterday because, as you guys know, I don't watch other content creators. But apparently, this guy has a show on the Blaze. So he has people listening to him. Presumably, Aaron has parents of autistic kids in his audience that maybe might like to know that their little darlings are going to be transitioned when they're in school, and to actually see the video of the training that the teachers are getting to train them how to trans the autistic children in school, because I'm the only fucking person on the internet literally that has the entire video of this. I thought that, maybe a nice conservative Christian like Aaron would care that autistic kids are being transitioned as part of their school curriculum. And that might be something that his audience on the Blaze would like to know. But Aaron doesn't care about that. Aaron doesn't care about that. What Aaron cares about is Twitter clout. What Aaron cares about is riling up his audience to get them to attack the fat woman with the stupid haircut because she's just so mean. She's just so mean on Twitter. So we have to teach that bitch a lesson, don't we, Aaron? And for that, I say, he deserves to have his kids fucking transitioned in school, because this asshole, along with almost everyone else on right-wing media, would sacrifice your children every single day of the week. They would sacrifice all of your children by not telling you what is going on when it is clearly and unequivocally given to them on a silver platter. I don't care that Autumn is here right now, Nurutu. Thank you though. And so, if they are going to continue to sacrifice your children because they refuse to do the one and only job that they have, which is to tell you what is going on, then I think they deserve to have their kids trans by the schools. Their kids don't deserve that. But their one and only job, their only job, is to pay attention to what is going on and tell the truth. And so, if they are unwilling to do their job in a way that is going to help parents know what is going on, so that parents who look to people like him and trust people like him to tell them what is going on, if they refuse to do that job, then I'm going to say they deserve to have their children transitioned in schools. Because they're putting your kids through that. So why should it be your kids that are sacrificed? Why shouldn't it be their kids who are sacrificed? They don't care if your kids are sacrificed. They don't care what happens to your kids. They don't care at all. All they care about is Twitter clout and clicks and views and retweets and, oh my God, owning that fat bitch with the stupid hair. Blair White doesn't care about this stuff. Blair White sided with a school district that was covering up that teachers were sexually molesting students because Blair White is Mike Harlow's best friend, and Mike Harlow is in the walkaway movement, and Mike Harlow is the one constantly smearing me and defaming me and doxing my friends all over Twitter, and that is Blair White's best friend. And so Blair White, because she's such a good conservative, sided with a school district that was covering up that teachers were sexually molesting students because that gave her a chance to attack me to help out her best friend Mike Harlow, because quite literally all they care about is Twitter clout. This is what I am trying to tell you. All these people care about is Twitter clout. That is it. None of them care about the truth. None of them care about what's going on in the world. None of them will do their fucking jobs and report what's going on in the world. None of them will tell their audience what they actually need to know. Even when it's handed to them on a silver fucking platter, they still won't do it. And because of that, they all deserve to have their children go through the same pain that your children are being put through their fucking incompetence. That's my position. Some might say this is a hardline position. Some might say it's an unreasonable position. But do you know what I find unreasonable? I find it to be unreasonable when these people are given this information and literally all they need to do is tell parents, hey, parents, here is what you look for. Here is what is going on in your schools. If this is showing up in your curriculum, you need to check in with your kids to make sure that nothing is happening and then they aren't being secretly transitioned by the schools. Here are the warning signs you need to look for. These people don't even need to do journalism. I've done all their fucking journalism for them. They don't even need to do the work to find out what's going on. Literally, all they need to do to protect people is to tell them what is happening, and they refuse. They refuse to do their job to tell you the information that you need to know to protect your kids. So why shouldn't they experience the consequences of their inactions? Why shouldn't they experience that? Don't good conservative Christians believe in an eye for an eye? Seems kind of an eye for me. You don't want to do your one job? Your kids should be the ones trans. Your kids should be the ones sacrificed, not the people who are looking to you for guidance, who you lie to day after day after day after day after day. It is disgusting how much your conservative influencers are not telling you. And then they have the fucking gall to turn around and to smear and defame and dox and harass the people who are trying to get you the information that you need. I have no sympathy for these people at all. I have absolutely no sympathy for these people at all. Let's read. Here's the link if you want to follow along. I had never heard of Aaron McIntyre before today, but apparently he has a show on The Blaze, which is a prominent conservative media outlet. The reason Aaron came on my radar is that he was one of many conservative Christians who have decided that my not being a Christian is the most important thing to comment on. Also, of course, they have to comment on my hair and my weight, because God knows that bitch is just too fat to have so many followers on the internet. Gotta take her down a peg. We can't have fat women with stupid hair doing the journalism that we should damn well be doing ourselves. Can't have that. Gotta make sure people know she's fat and she's ugly and she has stupid hair and she's not a Christian and she has stupid spiritual beliefs and she's going to hell. She's going to burn in hell, obviously. And she's a monster and she's a pedophile and all her friends deserve to be doxxed and she deserves to be doxxed, and let's just bully her for endless amounts of days, years after fucking years. It doesn't matter what she's doing. Don't look at her work. Don't look at autistic sex education. Don't look at her exposing grooming in the Burlington schools. Don't look at any of this. Don't look at it. No, we don't want you to see this just because you know she's just too fat, right? She's just so fat and she has such stupid hair, and that's all that matters. We can't expose any of what's going on in the schools at all. No. Oh no, she was the only one to talk about the Cambridge School District hiring an adult industry sexpert to train their sixth graders. No, don't look at that. Don't look at that. No. Oh, she was the one that got the FOIA request to show that the Cambridge school districts were paying $32,000 for an anti-capitalist, anti-whiteness trainer to come in and train their. No, don't look at that. Oh wait. She was the one that exposed that the Michigan Department of Education was quite literally grooming, like teaching teachers how to groom every fucking kid in America in fucking Michigan. The Michigan Department of Education literally ran a whole fucking series of trainings, training teachers all throughout Michigan exactly and precisely how to groom kids and then how to lie to their parents about it. No, we don't want anyone to see that. No. We can't see. She's just too fat. Guys, she's too fat, too ugly. Oh, no, she was only the first one to report on the fact that this fifth grade teacher was being sued for secretly trans. Oh, no, we don't want to look at that. Nope. Oh, how about the Socialist Reproductive Justice Conference that she literally put herself in physical danger to go through? Nope, she's too fat for that. Oh, how about the fact that she exposed this Marxist teacher in Colorado 2 years before we even knew what the fuck was going on? No, don't look at it, guys. Don't look at it. No, definitely don't pay attention to that training she just found where all these teachers are coming together to learn exactly how to queer your kids. Don't pay attention to any of that, guys, because Carlin is just too fucking fat. And she's not a Christian. And she has stupid hair. And that's all that matters. No, the answer will be yes. They deserve to have their kids transed. They absolutely do. Now, I'm often asked why I don't go on people's shows to talk about my work. The reason that I don't go on people's shows to talk about my work is that none of the people you think are on your team actually care about any of this. Not in any real way. They only claim to care for likes and clicks. But they mostly ignore activists like me. And by the way, I'm not the only one this happens to. Just in case people think I'm having a poor me, poor me, poor me moment, I am not the only one this happens to by a long shot. But we're talking about my experience, so I'm going to talk about what's happened to me. They mostly ignore activists like me because we don't follow their approved scripts and talking points. We're unpredictable, we have our own opinions, and that is dangerous to people who peddle in conformity and tribalism. And obviously, my spiritual beliefs, which don't impact anyone, are far more important than any of this work. Any of this. My spiritual beliefs are way more important than any of these things that I've exposed in the eyes of conservatives. Way, way, way. This isn't even a full list of all the things I've exposed, by the way. This is just a couple of things that I pulled up before we got started. Yup, my spiritual beliefs, way more important than any of this. He already got blocked by breaking rule number 1 in the chat of insulting me. So he might be here, but he's not going to appear. This lack of priorities on the conservative right has always confused me. I've done more to expose the details of what's happening in school systems across the country than almost anyone on the internet, digging into the details and showing the receipts that most people don't go farther than a TikTok video. You can find some of the archives on this very site. And yet, the conservative right rarely reports on any of that. They'd much rather tweet about my hair or my weight or my spiritual beliefs because that's what's really important. It's a strange lack of priorities. Why my hair or my weight or my spiritual beliefs matter at all is mind boggling. I promise you that when schools are socially transitioning the gender of your kids without telling you, and the state takes them away because you refuse to put them on the gender affirming cross sex hormones, I promise you that when that happens, you will care a lot less about my hair and my weight and my spiritual beliefs. Do you know what I think is more important than my hair or my weight or my spiritual beliefs? Autistic kids getting sexualized and socially transitioned in schools. Elon, move on if you want. That is entirely your prerogative, but I am not going to be emotionally blackmailed into continuing something that people don't want. So, you are welcome to listen to what is going on and then try to be part of the solution, or you can run away like everyone is prone to do. Do you know what I think is more important than my hair or my weight or my spiritual beliefs? Autistic kids getting sexualized and socially transitioned in schools with a special education curriculum designed for them that was presented as a keynote talk at the National Sex Ed Conference just a couple months ago. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think that's actually significantly more important than my hair or my weight or my spiritual beliefs. Here's why I bring this up. I reported on autistic sex education back in January. I was the only person to infiltrate this private training and get video of it, of course, with the help of the person that helped me infiltrate. And I don't want to dismiss that I did have help in that because I do have volunteers in my community that do care about this stuff and give freely of their time and their resources to try to get this information out there. And every fucking time that the conservative right shits on the work I'm doing because she's just too fat, okay? She's just too fat, and that's what really matters the most. Not only are they shitting on me, they're also shitting on the work of the volunteers in my community who are giving freely of their resources and their time and their energy. But we were the only people to infiltrate that training and get that video. We are still the only people to this day to have that video. That video has not been shown anywhere beyond the small community of people. And that is a fucking travesty. I have been haunted by what I saw in that training. What they're doing to autistic kids. And I cannot get anyone to cover it. This is their one and only job. To tell these parents what to look out for. It's their only job. And they refuse to do it. I don't think that's true, George, but I appreciate it. So why does that mean that Aaron should have his kids transitioned? You see, The Blaze was one of several conservative media outlets I reached out to directly after we infiltrated this training to say, hey, you might want to tell your audiences about this one. And yet, apart from one story in the American Conservative, it still hasn't been reported on anywhere. Now, I find this especially ironic because lately, over the past couple weeks, outlets like The Blaze are doing all these stories like, hey, did you guys know that autistic kids are trans at a higher rate than non-autistic kids, and that autistic kids are more susceptible to being brought into gender ideology in schools? They're all of a sudden doing all these stories saying, oh my God, guys, this is a problem that is specifically being targeted at autistic children. And I'm going, really? Really, assholes? Really? Oh, you didn't know? Do you know how they're getting to the autistic kids? 'Cause I do. Do you know why more autistic kids are coming out as trans? I do. Does anyone want to take a guess? Does anyone in the chat want to take a guess about how they're getting to autistic kids? And why more autistic kids are coming out as trans? Does anyone want to take a guess? Anyone? Bueller? Oh. I have a video of them training teachers on how to do it. I have a literal fucking video of the full training that was given as the keynote at the National Sex Ed Conference like a couple of months ago. I have an entire video showing exactly how they're doing it, exactly how they're teaching teachers. Does anyone want it? Like people in the chat don't even fucking know. We know how they're training teachers to do this. We know exactly and precisely how they're training teachers to do this. We know exactly and precisely what they're teaching your autistic children to make them believe they're trans. We know exactly and precisely because we have a fucking video of it. But all these media outlets, like The Blaze has done several stories on this. Oh, wow, guys, did you know that autistic kids are trans at a higher rate? Gee, I wasn't aware. They have the root cause of the problem being handed to them on a silver platter, and they refuse to tell parents about it. Do you want to know why more autistic kids are coming out as trans? Because they're literally teaching it to them as part of the curriculum. And we have it on video. Exactly what they're teaching. Exactly how they're training the teachers. And they refuse to report on it. So, why do I think that their children deserve to be trans? You'll have to pardon me when I get a bit frustrated when reporters from these outlets seem to lack priorities. When they're more concerned about smearing me on Twitter and defaming me on Twitter and doxing my friends on Twitter and then saying, we're the good conservative Christians, guys, trust us, we're conservative Christians. You can't trust that fat bitch. you'll have to pardon me for questioning their lack of priorities. Perhaps this isn't Aaron's fault directly because he was not someone I reached out to directly because I had never heard of him until yesterday. But he is still part of the problem. He knows what's going on and he refuses to say anything about it, and I'm going to prove that. And I think it's time to assert that there should be consequences for these lack of priorities. There has been a growing movement on the conservative right to veer towards authoritarianism ever since Donald Trump left office. And they're growing increasingly more authoritarian by the day. This is going to be a problem, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. And James Lindsay posted a whole thread on it. Maybe we'll read James Lindsay's thread if we have time. That's a different story, though. Lately, by the way, if you think I'm the only one that the conservative Christians are attacking, oh no. The conservative Christians, the good, God-fearing conservative Christians, have been attacking James Lindsay far more severely than they're attacking me for several days. And they do this all the time to him because James Lindsay's an atheist and he won't bend the knee to their bullshit either. So not only are you going to bully people like me, just a random person on the internet who has been dedicating all of her time and her money to trying to expose this bullshit for years, you're going to attack and smear and defame me, but you're also going to attack the fucking number one most valuable asset in this fight because he's not a Christian. That's just, good God-fearing work, Christians. Well done. Don't tell me the woke left is the biggest problem that we face. The woke right are a far bigger problem. But I started getting hit with the outlier attacks because I'm not going to take their nonsense and bend the knee to their bullshit either. I do not believe that woke, which means authoritarianism on the right, is any better than woke on the left, and I am unafraid to say so. So I was tweeting that I think that any conservative Christians who are acting like woke authoritarians should be treated accordingly, and I stand by that. And that's when Aaron entered my life. See, Aaron, because Aaron is a coward, wasn't even man enough to quote tweet me. Aaron took a screenshot of a tweet that I sent where I correctly pointed out that woke conservative Christian authoritarians are doing more harm than good to the anti-woke movement. Woke on the right is no different than woke on the left. As far as I'm concerned, they don't get special consideration for being socialists. Now, here's the point where most of the Christians in the chat are going to be offended. But after I was getting harassed by this asshole, Nate Fisher, for the better part of a day, because of course, Nate wants to present himself. Nate, by the way, has some sort of crazy new founding fathers initiative. Do you know who else has a new founding fathers initiative? The new founding fathers in the movie The Purge. Nate is quite literally creating his own new founding fathers that looks a lot like The Purge. That didn't work out so well for society, if you remember that movie. But Nate all day was saying, I am a poor persecuted Christian. Everyone hates Christians. Everyone hates us. All these anti-woke leftists, they all hate us. They're all persecuting us. He was acting like a wounded little bitch on Twitter for half the day, attacking anyone who wouldn't agree with him, attacking anyone who wouldn't bend the knee to his conservative Christian bullshit. And so eventually I got tired of it and I said, he is an excellent example of why we should absolutely shun conservative Christians from polite society because they're no better than the woke left. And I don't apologize. If you want to act like a woke leftist, I will damn well treat you like a woke leftist. Shauna says they're reverting back to the 90s panic, attacking Lindsay, Sydney Watson, you. Yes, they are. We've been in a 90s moral panic for a while now. And then Aaron popped into my life and he said, let's check in on classical liberalism. Because Aaron, being that he's a good conservative Christian, he got his fifis in a bunch. His panties in a twist, if you will. Now, I knew immediately not to trust Aaron's journalistic integrity because I've never once identified as a classical liberal. Never once have I identified as a classical liberal. Not even after I left the Democratic Party and before I became a libertarian did I ever consider myself a classical liberal. And generally speaking, I believe that classical liberals are just conservatives who wrongly believe they're libertarians when they're just socially liberal conservatives who don't care who is sleeping with who, but that's another story. So, upon being alerted to Aaron's tweet, because of course I was going to find out, I responded by challenging the good Christian to do his job and tell parents in his audience about a story that actually matters: autistic sex education. So when Aaron tweeted this out, I responded, "Hi, Aaron. When will you do your job and cover autistic sex education? I know you're several months behind me. We all expect that. But don't you think parents of autistic kids have a right to know how the schools are transitioning them?" That, by the way, is going to be my response to every single conservative who continues to smear me and defame me. And when are you going to actually tell parents what they need to know? All right, you're working out your feelings on the fat, ugly woman on Twitter. I understand. But when are you actually going to tell parents something that matters? Of course, the point I'm proving here is that conservative media has a complete lack of priorities. If I can't get them to report on things that matter, I can at least expose that they're not reporting on things that matter to show their audience who they really are. That's really the only positive that comes out of this, guys. Is that for the people that care, for the people that pay attention, for the people that listen, I can at least expose to you conservative media is no better than leftist media. In fact, in some respects, conservative media, like the Daily Wire and the Blaze, even though there are a couple good people at the Blaze, but I think getting worse and worse every day. And all of these outfits, they're nothing more than grifters. They only care about taking your money. That's it. They will tell you whatever they need to in order to take your money. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about giving you the information you need to know. The only thing that they care about is riling you up to take your money. That is it. And if I can at least expose that by illustrating that these people are more interested in commenting on my hair and my weight and my spiritual beliefs and smearing me and defaming me and doxing my friends, at least then I can say, your conservative media has a complete lack of fucking priorities. They refuse to tell you the things that you actually need to know, but they will put energy into smearing and defaming that fat bitch with the stupid hair on Twitter every single day. Well, he didn't respond to that challenge, but I knew he was paying attention because he finally, at long last, did a little bit of journalism and he correctly identified that I wasn't a classical liberal after an exhaustive search of my Twitter bio. So Aaron tweeted, "Well, I thought she was a part of the non-woke liberal brigade, but apparently she claims the title of ANCAP. I like to rip the libertarians, but don't worry, won't put this one on you." And so I responded again. I said, "Excellent work, Aaron. Congratulations on reading a Twitter bio. Next, I'll wait to see how long it takes for you to do your one job and inform parents of autistic children what the schools are doing for them. Here, I did your journalism for you. You see, guys, I don't even care if these people reference me when they report on this story. I am very used to conservatives stealing my journalism and calling it their own. They do it all the fucking time. But I don't really care if they even reference me or not. What I care is that they actually tell the fucking story, that they use the resources that have been given to them, and they do their one fucking job. If Aaron McIntyre refuses to tell his audience about this when he is well aware of it, then in my opinion, he deserves to have his children transed in programs like this. His refusal to engage with things that matter should have consequences. Every media personality who is not reporting on what is happening in the schools deserves to experience the full consequences of their lack of action. They all deserve to have their kids transitioned. Maybe then they will learn to focus their energy on things that matter and tell parents things that they need to know. Lack of action has consequences, guys. Inaction has consequences. Lies of omission have consequences. Choosing to spend your time smearing and defaming and doxing that fat bitch with the stupid hair rather than actually reporting things that are going on that stupid fat bitch is spending her days actually providing you, doing your journalism for you, that should have consequences. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it. That is how I feel about it. Oh, that's never going to happen. That is never going to happen. I have a disdain for Lydia that knows no bounds. Shauna, the Daily Wire would rather lecture women's number of past partners and talk about Taylor Swift's clock than actually protecting and building. That is exactly right. None of these people care about the things they claim to care about. If you watch this channel and my content regularly and you read my Substack, you are minimally 2 years ahead of where your conservative influencers are. That's how badly they're lying to you. It's not that the information isn't available. The information is available. The information is available for free right now on the internet. Literally all they have to do is tell the story. That's it. And they refuse. But Carlin, you're being so mean, Carlin. Why are you being so mean, Carlin? You're just so mean. Maybe if you weren't so mean, then people would actually do their job and tell parents what they need to know. But they just, Carlin, they can't do it because you are just too mean on Twitter. Do you know who's going to be nice to you? The teacher who will smile to your face, lie to you, and then socially transition your kid's gender without telling you. I promise you guys, I am going to look a whole lot nicer to you after you meet the very nice teacher, the one that I have been screaming to warn you about for years. After you meet that very nice teacher who will smile to your face and shake your hand and then lie to you as they look right at you, right in the eye, and they'll lie to you. And then as soon as you leave, they're going to start calling your kid by a new name and pronouns without telling you. Or they're going to get your kid in the after school GSA and they're going to explain to your kid, don't tell your parents. If you tell your parents, it might not be safe. I promise you that the tone that you don't like from the mean fat woman with the stupid hair on Twitter is going to look a whole lot nicer to you after you meet the teacher that's going to secretly transition your kid. And I'll tell you what, I have been neck deep in this shit for 2 years now. I have looked probably at more school curriculum than almost anyone else. I have looked at the policies more than almost anyone else. I have dug through the archives of school districts all over the country. I know exactly what's going on. And I'll tell you this. The people who have the ability to report this information out to millions of parents but refuse to look downright evil to me. The conservative media, who has had all this handed to them on a silver platter, and they ignored it over and over and over again, reporting on the outcomes of the children who are being detransitioned, but not reporting on the cause of the fucking transition in the first place. Those people look downright evil. You think the woke left is evil? I do. I think they're evil. But I don't think the conservative right is any better. Because the conservative right lies to parents, lies by omission and lies overtly, refuses to tell parents what they need to know, refuses to report on information that can help parents that is put right in front of them. They refuse. And to me, that is evil. I know some of you people have been listening to the conservative media, your favorite conservative influencers for years. I get it. I really do. You might look at them as a friend. You might feel like you know them personally. I look at these people as evil because they know what's going on. And they have information that they could report to help parents who are going to encounter this in school. It's just a matter of time. And they refuse to do it because of feelings. Feelings. The facts don't care about your feeling crowd. The only thing they care about is feelings. They could have told you what to look for, but they just didn't think it was important. All because they were too busy dunking on my hair or my weight or my spiritual beliefs. Because that seems to be all that matters. These people are evil. The do-nothing conservative influencers and the media are just as evil as the woke left. I said it, and I'm not sorry. Based on my extensive research of school policy, curriculum, and internal documents more than almost anyone else on the internet, I think it's a conservative estimate to say that 30% of kids are going to experience some form of social transition in the public schools, either to believe they're trans, non-binary, queer, or otherwise gender non-conforming. And I think that number will be much higher for autistic children because they're being specifically targeted and they're more vulnerable. There is a 3 out of 10 chance that your child will be socially transitioned in schools. That's a guesstimate based on all the work I've done. And I think it's a conservative guesstimate. And I think if you have a neurodivergent child, that number is 50-50 at a minimum. 50-50 chance. If you have an autistic child, 50-50. Flip a coin. Are you comfortable with that? I'm not comfortable with that, but there's nothing I can do about it. Because every time I try to tell you what's going on and every time I give you evidence and receipts, I am smeared and defamed and doxxed and harassed endlessly by thousands of people on the conservative right, not the woke left, not the people who are perpetrating this, the conservative right led by the Walk Away campaign and Mike Harlow, who is Brandon Strzok's best friend. So there's nothing that I can do. Do you get it now? No one is coming to save you. The media will not save you. They won't even tell you the information you need to know. You have to save yourself and your kids. So do I think that Aaron's kids deserve to be transitioned? His kids don't deserve it. His kids didn't do anything wrong, presumably. But he doesn't care if your kids are transitioned. He doesn't give a fuck. In fact, if your kids are transitioned and they detransition later, Aaron will be the first person there using their story, propping them up as like, oh, another detransitioner, oh, outrage, outrage, outrage. But did Aaron do anything to try to prevent it in the first place? No, he refused because it was more important to harass me on Twitter than to tell parents the information they need to know. And for that reason, he deserves to experience the pain of having this happen to his children because he doesn't give a flying fuck if it happens to yours. He would sacrifice your children in an instant. Why should your children be sacrificed? Why shouldn't it be his? And you can replace his face and his name with pretty much every member of the conservative media. And I would say the same thing. So, there's only so much that I can do when I have an army led by the woke conservative right that seems hell bent on undermining everything I try to do. And not only are they undermining it and smearing me and harassing me and making my life a living, breathing hell every single time I report on one of these things, they also aren't giving you the information you need to know. So for me, I think I might have hit a wall because I desperately, desperately, desperately want people to care about this. Not because I have kids. Not because it impacts me at all, because it doesn't. I don't have kids. Not going to have kids. But because I understand how dangerous this all is and what this means for the society and what this means for the country, and, I don't understand why the conservative right continues to do nothing. I don't understand why the conservative right is more interested in me than they are in helping parents. I don't understand their complete lack of priorities. I don't understand their complete lack of action. And I am tired of dealing with it. I'm just tired. I've tried to, I've tried to build a community that I don't really care what your politics are. If you're on the right, the left, you're politically homeless. As long as you care about ending this insanity, then you're welcome here. As long as you care about learning, then you're welcome here. As long as you care about being nuanced and reasonable and you aren't looking for outrage porn, then you're welcome here. I never meant my community to be the biggest community because I knew it never would be, because there are certain people that I don't want here. I don't want stupid people here. And there are a lot of stupid people on the internet. I don't want outrage mongers here. I don't want people who are just looking for me to repeat their talking points. I don't want people who are going to demand to compel my speech and tell me what I can and cannot say. I don't want any of those people here. I wanted people here who wanted to do deep dives into what is actually going on and to be willing to learn from it and be willing to, get through the boring parts and to really focus on the things that actually matter. And I'm very lucky that I've been able to attract a lot of those people. But sadly, and I really do mean this, sadly, what I did not anticipate is that every single time I had a success in terms of actually being able to expose something, or I had a big project I wanted to do and that I was committing, again, my own money to do these things and my own time, I didn't anticipate that every single time I exposed something that mattered, that would lead to me being, again, endlessly doxxed and harassed and smeared and defamed on the internet by the walkaway campaign and Mike Harlow and by the conservative right. I really did anticipate that people who were supposed to be against what the woke left was doing would thank me for my trouble and the investment of my time and the investment of my energy by defaming me endlessly every single time for over 2 years. So that means that if I do the infiltration, if I go after the events and we expose the events that I wanted to do for the rest of the year, that I know exactly and precisely how I'm going to be thanked for that because I'm going to be the public face of it. Everyone else will be behind the scenes, and you're allowed to be behind the scenes. You're allowed to be volunteers. You're allowed to not to be anonymous. But I really want people to understand this. I will take the hit. I will take the hit. You won't take the hit because I'll take the hit for you. And I know that no matter what we expose, no matter how crazy, it will only lead to me getting attacked and it won't get any coverage. And that's like the worst part of it because it's like you have all the information right here, right in front of you. What's going on? I've given it to you. I've handed it to you on a silver platter. And not only do you refuse to look at it, you refuse to show your audiences. You're going to thank me for giving you that information by defaming me again and again and again and again and again. Beth says, on behalf of conservatives, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Beth. I do appreciate it. Shauna says, why do you think conservatives are addicted to Twitter and rage from a psychologist point of view? Because they're addicted to losing, and most importantly, they're addicted to being persecuted. Christian conservatives are addicted to being persecuted. It's a fetish. They get off on it. So, here's where I stand on it. I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this, even though I know that whatever I say will be cut out of context. I am willing to move forward, to work with people, to try to expose these things, but I'm only willing to do it if it is proven to me that people value what I'm doing. It's not a money thing. People are going to say it's a money thing. It's not a money thing. How I'm going to judge whether or not people value what I'm doing is new supporters on my Substack, or I guess the other platforms as well. Because people should be able to support on whatever platform they want to, I guess, but the Substack is going to be the best one, I think. So we're talking about the people who are like $5 a month, $50 a year to support what I'm doing. And I want to see several hundred fucking new supporters step up. Several hundred. Because that money will get used to pay for the work that needs to be done to create the content and to actually infiltrate the event in terms of technology. um there's going to be events that I want to go to that require airline tickets and hotels, equipment, time, stuff like that. And so it's not a money thing in terms of like I'm not going to be rolling in the dough, guys, trust me. Like I said, even if I get several hundred new supporters, that will still not cover the cost that I am going to personally spend on these projects. But what it will show me is that people value what I do. And that's really what I care about at the end of the day. Is that if I'm going to put myself through this living, breathing hell of being attacked and smeared and defamed by the woke conservative Christian right endlessly, and the walkaway campaign, and Mike Harlow and his bullshit endlessly, after I did nothing but try to help just get people to leave the Democratic Party for, 2 fucking years. If I'm going to put up with this constant and never-ending bullshit, then I wanna know that the work I'm doing is actually valued and appreciated. Because I know it's not gonna get covered, is the thing. I know full well the conservative media will never use the content that I've handed to them on a silver platter to tell you what's going on. So the only thing I have is to say, well, do enough people value that outside of the conservative media bubble? And God knows, I mean, like, don't even try to, like, say, I mean, of course, like, lefty media would never report on this stuff. So, that's where I'm at. I don't think I'm being unreasonable. I don't know. I would like to hear your thoughts in the chat if you have them. I don't know what else to do. And I haven't really been watching the chat up until this point, just so you know, so I don't know if people have put that stuff in before, but maybe I guess I can scroll back through, but hmm. Alright. Well, and guys, just for people saying, "Carlin, you need to take a vacation," again, you're not considering the fact that a vacation would not actually solve this particular problem. Because I would come back. This has been going on for over 2 years. This is not a one-off thing. This is something that has been going on quite literally for 2 fucking years. Oh, yeah, there's a blacklist. Oh, yeah. Big time. big time. And I'm constantly smeared by people on the conservative right. So why would they? And by the way, I don't actually wanna go on people's shows. I hope you guys understand that. Like, I would do it if it was important, but it's not something that I actually wanna do, so I'm not gonna go out there and pitch them. Like, every time that I was on people's shows, it actually only contributed to making my life worse. But no, there's absolutely a blacklist, yeah. Well, the problem, Sean, is that the grassroots aren't spreading it, and this is the point. The grassroots aren't spreading it. I mean, I appreciate that you wanna help, Elon, but, like, I again, like, what I need right now what I need right now is to see that people value the work I'm doing through new supporters on the Substack or what have you, because that is how it is not only how I'm gonna fund actually doing the infiltration into the events, it's just it's a mindset thing, I suppose, more than anything else. It's like, right now, I'm in the and I appreciate you wanting to donate time, and I hope there will be the opportunity for that, I really do, but, like, again, I don't know if you like, what you guys need to understand is that the people who help and volunteer, I mean, you're welcome to be public with your help and your volunteering, you're welcome to do that, but in general, I am going to be the one that's public on this simply because that's just what it is, right? And I'm not trying to prevent anyone else from being public and helping and putting their names out there, and of course, I would be happy to credit anyone that helps, that's not a problem, but, like, I ultimately am the one that's gonna take the bullet for this. I mean, that's right, like, I mean, I am not going to I cannot even tell you guys how much time I have wasted pitching conservative media. Like, it's just complete and total waste. They never respond. It's like they never do it. They always choose to cover the most stupid bullshit, like, so I personally am no longer going to waste that time because it means nothing coming from me. It means nothing. Maybe if their audience demanded this information, it would be different. He knows who I am. He follows me on Twitter, or he did it one time. I don't know if he does anymore because I haven't looked at his I don't know, but, like, he knows who I am. It seems like though there are not many people who aren't beholden to a side, that is very true. Those of us criticizing both sides are crucified and called the enemy, that is very true. That is very true. But in this case, one of the things that really just really burns me is the fact that we literally have video of what is going on in the schools. We have the documents, we have the FOIA requests, we have the curriculum, and we literally have the full form video, not the TikTok video, the full fucking training. And I cannot get people to look at it. Your voice, your frustration with the conservatives needs to be heard. I mean, I appreciate that. Most conservatives don't appreciate Carlin / her work. It's depressing. That's part of what she's trying to tell us. The worst part is they won't share her journalism because she doesn't fit in their box. I mean, the thing of it is, again, like, they've stolen my work before and called it their own. I don't understand why they can't just do that. Autistic Sex Ed isn't behind a paywall. All their clips are made for them. They don't even have to use my name. They can just tell the fucking story. But they won't. They won't even look at it. Because she's fat and has stupid hair. I'm just scrolling through the chat, guys. This is absolutely true. I think that behind the scenes, the conservatives want to keep this happening so they can push their agenda. They don't care about any of it. That is absolutely true. What on earth would Matt Walsh talk about if he didn't have this? Matt Walsh doesn't want to solve this problem. Matt Walsh has made no moves to solving the problem. Matt Walsh has exploited the problem to profit. What would he talk about if it wasn't this? I mean, he'd find something, of course. He was talking about nonsense before this. He'll talk about nonsense after this. But Matt Walsh has never made more money or been more famous than when he was talking about this. I strongly doubt that. I really do. I doubt that very much. They were pitched. They knew about it. That is a great point. You're falling on your sword and are willing to let them steal your work because you care. Why aren't they even trying to steal it? Because they don't care. Because they don't care. And they probably never did. It was all just bullshit. This is like the hardest part of this whole thing for me. Realizing emphatically just how none of these people who peddle in this type of information, how quite literally none of them actually care about this in any real way. Guys, let me explain something to you. When you actually genuinely care about something, you put personal bullshit aside to support the goal. You don't say, "You have stupid hair and you're fat and therefore I don't care about this anymore." You don't do that. That only happens with unserious people. When you actually care about achieving a goal, you do what is required to achieve the goal. They refuse to do that. They refuse. They downright refuse. Because they don't actually care. They know about this, Elon. They know about it. Trust me, they know. They're subscribed. There are multiple people at the Epic Times that are subscribed to my Substack. They know about it. Christina, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for all your information. It was the inspiration to form the newly unofficial Guardian Caucus here in North Carolina. Thank you. We are active politically. We are active politically in rhino hunting. That's really great news, Christina. I'm really glad to hear that. I hope you guys make a lot of progress, because God knows that the people that Moms for Liberty endorsed for school board in North Carolina are certainly not getting the job done, are they? But Moms for Liberty was going to save us all, remember? Moms for Liberty, they were the good conservative organization that was going to save us all, endorsing school board candidates that are supporting gender ideology in North Carolina. That's Moms for Liberty. Congratulations. Tinge says, I assume part of the reason they won't cover the important stuff is because they'd be told to actually do something about it. Yeah. I think that that's certainly part of it. Not a single one of them want to actually do anything that's important. Ain't gonna happen. Timmy Tim would never have it. And to be quite frank, I don't want to get called fat and ugly for 3 hours. Like, selfishly, I know, but we all know what would happen if I went on that show. I'd get called fat and ugly for 3 hours, and no one would actually listen to what I would say, and Tim would probably interrupt me, and there'd probably be some sort of fight, and, because Tim does, like, not like me. You guys understand that, right? Like, he really does not like me. Like, he never has. Tim was one of the original smear campaigners about me. But that wasn't really his fault. He was lied to by Carrie Smith, but hey. We are in the looting phase of our nation. People don't care and don't think there is really anything to be done, so get while the getting is good. I actually agree with that quite I really do think, guys, and this might, be a black pill for some people, but I'm sorry, like, I think we're on our long slow descent into socialism. I don't think there's anything that can be done to stop it. I mean, I think there could be things that people could do, but they refuse. They refuse. And so if people don't have the will to actually do anything, then the left is going to win. They're going to win, and it's not even going to be close. And yeah, they're going to win. Oh, James Jones. Thank you for the super chat, James Jones. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Illustration Station. I appreciate it. Guys, I hope you know, right? Like, oh, no, 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 no. Chrissy Mayer and her audience are, quite frankly, far too stupid to interact with and this is part of the problem too, is there are a lot of fucking stupid people on the internet. I will not suffer these people. Chrissy Mayer is far too stupid to even begin to grapple with what I'm doing. Her audience is her audience are probably the main people that are spreading the smear campaigns. Chrissy Mayer herself has spread multiple smear campaigns about me. And of course, Chrissy Mayer, Carlin really needs to go to the gym, according to Chrissy Mayer. I am far too fat for Chrissy Mayer. Just remember that, guys. According to Chrissy Mayer, the good conservative influencer, I am just way too fat for anyone to listen to. We know this. We have documentation. Chrissy herself has tweeted how much I need to go to the gym and how that's the most important thing. No, they're far too stupid. I'm sorry. The media and other outlets you think care don't actually care enough. If they did, they would be sharing the information. It's common sense and they won't do it. The reality is clear. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. You didn't find me on, I've never been on Tim's show. Everyone seems to think I have. I have never been on his show. Was asked 3 times. Was asked once rather recently. And then I basically said, "I'm not going to deal with like, I don't think he wants me on." Basically, so I was asked twice when the show first started, and then they canceled both times, and then I was asked again rather recently, actually, and, my response was that I didn't think Tim would appreciate it, and I don't wanna fight with him, so no. Hang on, guys, I'm just scrolling through the chat. We're gonna have to wrap up in a minute because I do have a supporter call at 7 PM. Alright. So I hope people understand, this is not actually the outcome that I wanted. I really do hope people understand that. This is not the outcome that I wanted. I I want more than almost anything for people to look at the information that we've uncovered and to take it seriously. I want that more than almost anything. The problem is that I cannot contend with the constant and perpetual conservative Christian outrage mobs that are spun up against me based on smear campaigns spread by Mike Harlow and the walkaway movement, because that's the only successful thing that Mike Harlow has ever done, is to smear me and defame me and dox my friends. And I will not bend the knee to those assholes. I will not do it. I will not apologize for not doing anything wrong. I will not kowtow to their bullshit. I will not do it. And sadly, there are just way too many conservatives that prioritize defaming me and smearing me over the information that I have handed to them on a silver platter over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And I didn't want it to be this way. I wanted more than anything in the world to keep my head down and focus on what I was doing and to show people what was happening. And I like infiltrating these things, and I like being able to dig for information that no one else knows how to find. But sadly, every time I just I just wish that I had more people that valued what I and what we are doing. I wish I could figure out a way to justify this. I wish I could figure out a way to balance it out, to say, yeah, so I'm going to be attacked relentlessly and smeared by the walkaway campaign. We all know that that's true. We all just have to slot that in, that Mike Harlow and Brandon Strzok and the walkaway campaign will constantly be defaming me and my friends and doxing me for the rest of my life. We just have to factor that in as a given. I know that because of Mike Harlow and the walkaway campaign, I am constantly going to be attacked and defamed by good conservative Christians. We have to factor that into the model. But I really had hoped that people would be able to look at the information that was being presented and to be able to use their heads to say, all of that is bullshit, and what she's doing and what her community is doing and what the Unwoke Army is doing, those are actually the important things. Those are actually the things that we should be paying attention to. Those are actually the things that we should be talking about. I I wanted more than anything for that to be the case. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we could But it just seems like it's not gonna happen. It just seems like no matter what I expose, um, it's not good enough. It's not good enough to actually get people to listen. It's not good enough to get people to stop smearing me. It's not good enough to get people to actually look and fucking see. And so there's only so much I can will, you know? There's only so much I can try to will people into doing. If people are unwilling to show up, then there's nothing I can do. So maybe people will show up. Maybe they will. I don't know. I hope they do. But if I can't get, a couple hundred new supporters at a minimum, which I know damn well could happen overnight if people wanted it to. I know damn fucking well that could actually happen overnight if people wanted it to, because I've seen it happen. That I'm not going to keep going because I'm not going to have the resources to do it, and even more than like the resources, I'm just not going to have the inclination, and like I am fine with just reporting on news that other people have reported on. It's a lot easier. It doesn't put me in the spotlight. It doesn't require me to put myself in potentially dangerous situations. It doesn't require me to, go out of my way to try to fucking, you know, get a fucking disguise to go to an in-person event or something like that. Like it doesn't require as much energy just to report on news that's already out there. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see if people step up. So my plan is that I'm going to basically establish different levels of like, if I get this many supporters, we'll do X, Y, B, and Z. If I get this many supporters, we'll do X, Y, B, and Z. But and I already know what those levels are. I already know what financial levels I need to be at in order to be able to do this stuff. And we'll see. We'll see. If I can get it to the place where it will be worthwhile for me to do, just in regards to like members of the community, like in terms of like getting the community to the numbers that I need it to be in order to fund it and in order to feel like it makes sense, then I'll do it. But if I can't, then I can't. And I tried and I begged and I pleaded, and people just decided that my weight and my haircut was just more important. And that'll just be the way it goes. So guys, thank you for allowing me to talk. Thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts on this. I'm sure there will be many Christians who have fifis over some of the things I've said, and to those Christians, I would say that you have a responsibility to clean up your own damn tribe. It is not my responsibility to clean up your tribe for you, and I am sick and tired of trying. And facts don't care about your feelings, and it's the way it goes. Juju, is there a way to gift subs to your Substack? I think there is, Juju. Actually, I think there is. Hang on. I appreciate you asking. I think if you go to carlin.substack.com and you click subscribe, hang on. And you click you go to carlin.substack.com/subscribe and you click gift. I think you can actually make gifts for people, which would be pretty great. it really pains me to put this in such brass tacks. It really does, because like, I've never wanted to be the type of, like, creator where I'm like, you know, basically support the work I'm doing or else I can't do it anymore. Because again, it's like it leaves, like, a bad taste in my mouth because it's like it's not like even it's really not about the money. It's like it's feeling like I'm spinning my wheels. Not it's feeling not only like I'm spinning my wheels, but like I'm getting the shit kicked out of me over and over and over again while I'm spinning my wheels and just saying, "Does this even matter? Is this making a difference, or am I just killing myself for no good reason?" Anyway, I appreciate you guys allowing me to have a chat. We're gonna do something fun tomorrow. Do you know what we're gonna do tomorrow? We're gonna watch about an hour and a half of the McCarthy hearings. I have been trying to find video of the McCarthy hearings for like months and months and months and months and months. The video exists somewhere. The hearings were broadcast on television. Someone somewhere has video of the McCarthy hearings. I've wanted to watch like the entire McCarthy hearing for like so long. But I didn't get the whole thing. But someone sent me about an hour and a half of clips. And I thought we could watch the McCarthy hearings. Because I've never seen it. I don't know. Have any of you guys seen it? So we'll do that tomorrow on the stream, 5 p.m. All right, guys. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it. We'll see you soon.